Oh, is she the Scorpio? You're back?
Yes, I'm back.
Yeah, I don't know. We've never had this kind of problem. What kind of phone are you using?
I'm using an iPhone.
I wonder what happened. You never know if they did an update and it's glitching, but usually rebooting fixes it. So hopefully we won't have a problem. Um, so looks like I'm probably only interviewing you tonight. Is that the case? You,
I guess no
so
one else came.
yeah, well, I didn't see anybody else try to get in, but they might have been having trouble. But it's been sent to the global audience that we have on this group chat.
Mm-hmm.
But since we're starting late, I think I'll start the interview with you. And I've been looking at your Instagram, and you have a music reel. So you do music as well as modeling?
Yes, I've been in a few videos.
Okay, so you do. So you do music modeling for music videos, or you
Yes,
actually sing?
just modeling for the
Just
music
modeling.
videos. Mm-hmm.
So when you got into your modeling career, when did you start? At what age did you decide that you were, thinking about doing that, or did it happen earlier in your life, or did you do it like lately, like a more recent development?
It happened earlier in my life, like when I was in high school, which was like, well, someone's going past so bad. um, this was over 13 years ago. I've
So were
been
you approached by agents, or did you like go try to get into it by like trying to find out how you would get into it, or did some agent find you?
It wasn't an agent. It was like little things in my area. They were doing like fashion shows. We did that, photo shoots.
Okay, so did you eventually are you signed with an agency now, or are you like an indie model? Are you like
Um,
independent?
I am with Jersey Diamonds. That's what we were in the group with.
Okay.
Yeah, I am with Jersey Diamonds.
So how did you get involved with the Jersey magazine? We Are Jersey magazine.
How did I get it? I think we actually contacted each other via Instagram back in November of I think 2017. So yeah, it's going on almost 2 years.
Oh wow. So
Yeah.
did so who contacted you? Was it Banks Flexen or someone else?
I believe it was B, which is the manager.
Commander?
Yes.
So Banks Flexen or DJ Fine. Did you deal with him directly, or did you just deal with B?
I deal with him as well.
So that relationship, can you maybe describe like when you first connected through Instagram? What did you start to do with the group?
Oh,
And,
it was really cool. Like they're very opening, welcoming. I met with them in person and we, was all going over ideas, talked about what I did before, what I like to do. And they're very helpful.
so did they have like a plan of like what they wanted to have you work on or model? Did they have like a certain set of things they wanted to do in terms of like maybe a layout for their magazine, or have you work with like for music videos, and do they have like an overall plan, or do you guys just kind of do it off the cuff?
Yes, no, we have a plan. Like we have different goals. Either it could be the team goals or our personal goals. We all work with each other.
So in terms of maybe get back to the beginning with your modeling, maybe you could go through like the history of like how you got to where you are today, and maybe kind of walk us through that.
So so I was walking with my old best friend. She was going to practice and I was just, going there to support her. And at the time, the people she was working with, they wanted me to come in. I'm like, okay, whatever. I didn't have anything. It was for a fashion show. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, whatever. So I tried it and they were like, amping me up, like, oh, you got it. Da, da, da. And ever since then, I was doing it.
So how often do you do the modeling? Is it like your primary career? Is that your main thing that you're doing, or is it something that you're doing this, in addition to other things you do as an artist or somebody in the industry?
modeling is a priority to me, but I do have like a full-time job.
Yeah, it's a lot like musicians. Musicians always, they try not to have a day job,
Right.
but like when you're a musician, sometimes you end up doing a gig just to do the gig, and you don't even get paid just so that you can be out there.
Exactly. Exactly.
So does that happen in modeling? Like musicians sometimes get called to play something, it's the exposure, and there's no compensation. But with modeling, do you guys always get compensated, or you take opportunities because it's going to give you like exposure?
No, there are some people that just, offer you exposure, but it would depend on, like you, like if you want to take that exposure or you just want money.
So what has your primary motivate, has it kind of shifted between the two depending on what it is? Like if there are
Yes.
certain things that the exposure is worth not getting paid because it has value in itself.
Yes, absolutely.
That's cool. So how often do you actually have gigs, or like musicians we talk about gigs, like so when you do like fashion shows, or do you get asked to like do like magazines and videos, like what's typically like your work schedule for like a month or two?
It depends. Like I can get a hit up right now for something like 10 o'clock. Like usually my schedule is like I try to do it more so on the weekends because like I said, I have a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to do it more so on the weekends, but like what 2 weeks ago I got hit up like 12 o'clock for an event at 3 o'clock in New York. So it was like, oh my God, okay. Let me
Like,
do
are you
this.
talking about like in the morning or at night?
In the afternoon.
Afternoon. So it
Yeah.
can happen really quick. So they can hit you up like on a text or something and want you to be at the place you need to be.
Yes.
Oh, so that's interesting. So have you worked with like fashion designers to like do like runway modeling, or you do different type of modeling? Maybe kind of describe the modeling you do, maybe.
I do more so like commercial modeling. I've done it for this company Africa Imports, like for
Mm-hmm.
their, for their clothing. Just photo shoots for photographers, for, musicians, myself, videos for
Mm-hmm.
myself,
So sometimes musicians do they have you do like just still layouts for like albums, or do they have you do like full video?
full video.
Full video.
Mhm.
So is that mostly for like hip hop and rap, or other genres like R&B and stuff?
Um, I had both.
Do you prefer one or the other? It doesn't matter to you.
No, it doesn't matter. I listen to everything.
Mm-hmm. So that's cool.
What about yourself? This is the first
Well,
time I'm talking to you.
well, I am a signed musician producer. I go by Phantom Electric Ghost. I'm on Bentley Records out in Manhattan,
Okay.
and I also am on Mojo Head Records out of Europe.
Nice.
And so this year, I got signed by two labels. I've been in the industry. I've been a musician for over 30 years.
Wow.
Um, and I play synthesizers. So
Okay.
kind of like Stevie Wonder, and going back to bands like Genesis and Yes, and like old rock bands. I don't I actually play keyboards. So
Nice.
a lot of people today, when they say electronic, they're on CDJs or they're DJs. But I actually know how to play piano and organ and synthesizers. So I have like Moogs and Rolands and like new wave synthesizers you would have seen like Duran have.
Oh,
Bands like that,
nice.
like real hardware. And so I like to construct songs using the classic, piano
Instrument. Right,
instrument.
right,
Yeah,
right,
and the real 808s, like not an 808 and an Apple, but a real 808 drum machine.
right.
So yeah, I've been recording with bands since I was like 17 years old. I'm in my 50s now. I do a lot of experimental music that's kind of like funk. I'm inspired by Prince and like Terrence Trent D'Arby, and guys who kind of go out there a little bit, not the
Right.
norm. Um, and that's what I like to do. But yeah, I've been working with a lot of different musicians. I've had collaborations with like rock bands, with DJs, with I did a collaboration with a lady from Denmark, with like an actress from LA, All Control K. We did like an EDM album in 2017 called To Infinitum. It's out on Spotify. But yeah, I have a lot of singles out, and I'm working on an album called Violets, which is going to come out on Bentley this year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we got, like I said, we got like 18,000, like 19,000 now. It just switched. 19,600 people have listened to our podcast. We've been interviewing bands for the last 2 years. We've interviewed Kendra Black, who is an established musician in New York. You might have seen her. She had a big billboard in Times Square. She's done a song with Snoop Dogg called Rude.
Okay.
That we've interviewed Kendra Eric, who is a top 10 Billboard dance pop artist. We've interviewed punk bands from London and Italy, and we're getting ready to interview a Canadian pop star named Rain, which we've had on the show like 3 times. So we interviewed about like 30 different indie artists over time. And we actually even interviewed Jess Davis, who's an actress in New York City, who has a fashion line and also has been in the Netflix show from Marvel called Punisher. She's had a role and she does movies.
Oh,
so
wow.
She's a black actress. We've had her on about twice. No, maybe 3 times. So yeah, we like to interview all kinds of different types of artists, from DJs to punk rockers to full rock bands, hip hop people, and any movie stars, anybody we can get. So we try to just talk to them and give them a forum. And that's what we're about. Because there were some people on the net that were charging to do interviews for musicians. And, I'm a big music fan and I'm a musician. I said, I think a lot of musicians would like to get interviewed and not have to pay.
Right.
So we just started creating this format, and now we get paid from sponsors.
Nice.
So we
and
don't have to.
Awesome. Like, I thought we were going to meet up at a radio station or something and do the interview. This is awesome.
Yeah, when it works. I mean, most of the time it doesn't glitch like it did. But what's cool is that Spotify actually bought Anchor and incorporated in. So we're part of the Spotify family, which not everybody probably realizes, but Spotify actually bought Anchor, was a separate company, and now it's part of Spotify. And so we have a pretty big range, and there's a bunch of things getting ready to happen with the platform. But it has a pretty wide reach because it's on Spotify podcast. And it's also on Apple, and like 11, 9 other platforms. So it's any kind of podcast platform that's out there, like Stitcher, Radio Public, is out there. And what's cool is that the you can put your links onto an episode, and so musicians will put their merchandising links onto the episode, and then people, like if they're selling T-shirts or they're selling CDs, it pushes the band, and if you're an artist or a musician or a model and you've got a site where you want to get people to, like, for booking, if you give us that link, we can add that to the episode.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
Yeah. So if you've got something like that you want added to this episode, just send me through an instant message. I have your Instagram already, but if you have any kind of links that you would want to include in an episode about yourself, just send them to me through that group chat, and I'll add them to them. Because I actually will publish this tonight.
Okay. That's cool.
Say if you send it right after, or like right while we're talking, I'll have it. So I mean, I've been doing music forever, but it is something I'm passionate about. But so, you have any other things you want to talk about? Things that you're working on? Have you branched? I know a lot of models get into acting. Have you looked at doing any acting, or have you done acting or interested in?
So when I was younger, my aunt and uncle, they tried to get me into John Casablancas. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it was
maybe tell me about that.
Yeah, it was out in Philly. And like, we're from Jersey, so they would drive me to Philly like every other weekend for practice. So they told me, like that I should get into acting. Acting and modeling is hand in hand. Yeah. So that's what I started to do when I was younger, but then I stopped because it got expensive with all the other bills my aunt and uncle had to pay. But
Mm-hmm.
like I did do like a small skit in a movie that hadn't come out yet. It was like just like a
Okay.
as a ring card girl.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was it was cool. Like, you know, it was a famous actor there. Everyone was so nice, friendly.
That's cool. I think that seems to be like the opportunity can happen, like because you're in the industry and somebody sees your look and then thinks you might work. Film directors are always looking for characters to put into their stories or their projects. They see
Right.
they see you're out there in the same sphere. You're in the same zone that some of these people are. They're all creative people. You say you run into creative people, you get to a music video, somebody see you and then say, hey, that you would be perfect for this role that they're thinking about. You don't even know about it, but
That's true.
that all kinds of things happen. You never know. It happens to musicians too. I mean, musicians aren't thinking to be actors. They usually don't. That's like the last thing you think about.
Right.
But then you do a video or your song starts kicking, and suddenly people want you to do cameos here and that, and they want you to do this and that. So it's just, I think all creative people can kind of branch out. You never know when you might have to step up and do something that normally that's not your comfort zone.
Mhm. That's
you
true.
know yeah, but I think if you're creative, like, you always push yourself. No matter what you do, if you're an actress, you're a model, you might push yourself to do something different. Or that's a lot of creative people I've talked to for the last 2 years that kind of told me about their journey and what they like to do.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it all goes hand in hand. The modeling, acting. You know, we do videos, so you know you have to act for that.
Yeah. I mean, the video kind of opens up the door to kind of like, you know, the entry level. That from that you could get brought into TV, and then you get brought into film. That's I've talked to some folks. There's actually this musician I was talking to was actually a runway model in Denmark, like an
Okay.
international model. Her name's Jen Eagle, and she's got tired of doing modeling because her real love is music.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of times I find that, like, sometimes you find an actor and they really, they do well in acting, but they want to be a musician, but their music isn't really kicking compared to their acting.
Right,
So
right. That's
what I've
true.
seen is, like, a lot of times actors want to be musicians, and the first chance they get to actually, like, after they get established and like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do a show, I'm going to do a concert,
Hmm.
or I'm going to do an album, and like Eddie Murphy,
Right.
yeah, you never know.
Exactly.
Yeah, you go and you try it because sometimes some people are more successful than others. Like Kiefer Sutherland from like 24. He's
Hmm.
going out and doing like a music show, and it's like nobody, like, his primary thing is, like, he's good at acting. You see him in 24, but
Right, right.
his, like, real heart love in his heart is like he'd rather be singing, but people don't see him that way. you know. So that's always hard. I think that a lot of times people want that they have their first love, and then sometimes what they're really good at.
Yeah, that's true. Mhm. I think that's
Then they're
true.
always trying to see if they can bring that out, get to where they want to be, and they get
Right.
the great artists to actually kind of get where they want to go. When you get like a Michael Jackson or a Prince or somebody like that, they just they nail it.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah. So is there anything else you want to talk about in terms of what you think would be interesting,
Um,
on your career that maybe you haven't talked about?
let's see. Well, this is my second podcast that I've done so far, which
Oh,
is
you've done
cool.
another one.
Yeah, but like I said, it was like, I went into the studio, we had the
Oh yeah,
headphones
that's a
on.
traditional kind
Yeah.
of radio.
Yeah, this is actually awesome. Like, I'm in the comfort of my own home, just basically talking on the phone. It's awesome. But
Yeah, which we yeah. I mean, we just try to make a easier way to get to people so they don't have to physically come to a studio.
and I like it. I like it a lot, actually. And I'm like, oh, so where do we have to meet up? What's the address? What's going on? I'm like, hey, it's almost 8:30.
Yeah, it's just like, a lot of people don't realize, like, they think it's gonna be like a video podcast. We are working on like a YouTube version of the show,
Okay.
or a Twitch version of the show, but there's a lot more to that. and
Right.
then it's just sometimes it's harder to get a good signal. Like
Right.
we've been trying to do a remote version where we could bring people onto like a YouTube or Twitch type platform, but the problem with that is like, you know, not everybody's phone's got a good signal. And once you get into video, it's a lot harder. You have to have really good networks to do the video, and then you kind of really do need to go into a studio for that, or you have to have
Right.
really good. You got to validate that the person's signal is going to be good before you do it, and there's a lot more overhead.
No, I
so,
understand.
so the audio one has always kind of been the default. We've been working on it. We tried it with a couple of years ago. We tried with a French collective of artists in outside of Paris, and they're called like Monsters Tea Party. They're some crazy, they're crazy guy group of like French artists. They're like all types of artists, like film directors, painters, musicians, and we did a couple of YouTube videos, but it's just like there was a problem with the signal going to Europe. That we didn't get a good signal, so the quality wasn't what we wanted, so we kind of put that on hold. But yeah, we're always trying stuff.
Okay.
So if we get a video version and we get it stable, we'll let you guys know.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we're always working on it because there's a whole other thing we can do with video. So, you know, especially when people are more visual artists, you know, but it's cool to talk to people who are visual artists and get their kind of, you hear their voice, you know, and
Right.
actually have them talk about what they're talking about. So she's a Scorpio. We're glad you came on the show. We're going to put this out tonight. Like, again, if you have links you want to use for the show, because when it goes out to all the platforms, people will be able to click on links to get in touch with you.
You could just put my Instagram. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, and then we also have this new feature in Anchor itself where people can leave voice memo comments.
Oh, awesome.
So people can, if they're interested in doing feedback or they have something, a question they want to ask you, they can actually leave a voice memo. And then within Anchor, if you see the voice memos attached to this episode and you want to respond to them, you can respond to them or not respond to them, or whatever you want to do.
Oh, that's awesome. I would love to respond to people. I would like to talk to people, see what's on other people's mind.
Yeah, so it just gives people a different way to communicate. You know, it's not real time, but it's just like a voice memo type of system.
Right.
Yeah, we can control it to make sure nobody's leaving like nasty notes.
Right. Well, it's a good thing they don't see me right now, right?
Well, I'm sure that wouldn't be a problem. But all right, so thank you for coming on the show, and we're gonna put this out. We'll send you the links as we publish. We'll put the links up on this group chat, so you'll see the links coming in from Spotify and iTunes as they start to publish. And then you can just send them out to your audience or your groups of people that you would want to send them out to. You know, no problem, no charge. So thank you to the Scorpio for coming on, and we look forward to talking to everybody else in the group, in the collective with We Are Jersey Magazine. So thank you. You're the first guest that we've done with this collective group of individuals, and we thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, have a good night.
You too. Thank you.